Welcome, ghouls, ghoulettes, and guesties to GonstFM Off Air, the official podcast companion to 66.6 GonstFM, the internet radio station dedicated to the band Ghost and the wider Gonst community. I'm Papa X.
I'm Uncle Ghoul.
And today we are bringing you yet another special guest. Joining us from Stockholm today, you may all know him from his work on Ghost Impera album. However, he's also part of other bands such as Dundrit, Paatos, Brooklyn Funk Essentials, Infinite Mass, Fist Funk, and a ton of others that we'll probably get into in today's conversation. Please welcome to our show, Hux Nettermalm. How are you doing today, bud?
Yeah, I'm fine. How are you?
Fantastic.
We're doing good.
Yeah, and dude, you have a much better view than we do right now. Hux is hanging out on his porch, I would assume. It's beautiful out there today, too. You just got back in from a short little tour. Who were you out with? You mentioned helicopters, which a lot of our fans actually know about, believe it or not.
I'm doing these weekend tours with Reggae. It's a solo thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, we just got back from a concert in Arvika.
Yeah.
Man, you do a lot of traveling, I've noticed. Like we both, Anthony and I, both keep up with your Instagram account, and it's actually really cool to see like all the places that you've been over the years, especially like, you know, you do a lot of session work. You know, you are also a exhibition drummer, session drummer, you do compositions and stuff. So tell us a little bit about how you got into playing music. I personally have noticed a lot of Buddy Rich influence. You're a traditional grip drummer. Anthony and I are both drummers as well. So I would assume that's a big influence, but I know you'd be able to tell us a lot more about that than we could.
Of course, Buddy Rich is a big influence. I, however, think that my first big influence would have to be Peter Criss.
Yes.
Okay,
my favorite drummer.
That's Anthony right there.
My favorite drummer. Yep. I grew up on Kiss. It's my favorite band. And it made me want to play drums was watching Kiss Alive, videos of all that tour. So yeah, that's right up my influence too, and he's very jazz influenced, Gene Krupa, all that,
Yeah, they all have it. The old guys like Ian Pace and Keith Moon, and they got the jazz thing going. Mitch Mitchell.
Oh yeah,
dude.
Yeah, that swing. You can't, all that Hendrix stuff is so groovy in that swing. It's that funky groove that you can't mistake.
And one thing I think we miss these days that they had a lot of is the dynamics.
Absolutely.
We have. Everything is so locked to a grid now that there's not that, you listen to like a James Brown record and you can hear the tempos modulating and the, the pocket feel is just...
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very free flow, I would say. You know what I mean? Like it's a very loose playing. That's the stuff that I love to hear the most. Like, because I realize that certain genres of music that you need, like you need a metronome, obviously. Like if you're doing anything like electronic bass, like drum and bass, or anything like that. But I think rock music is missing that. You know what I mean? It's missing that loose feel. I don't like
the human element.
Yeah, I don't like overly polished stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm there. I'm with you.
Were there any records that influenced you specifically growing up that made you want to play drums?
Yeah, my first cassette band I got from my dad was the A side was In Rock with Deep Purple.
Oh, yeah. Right on.
And the B side was The Heat Is On with the Isley Brothers.
Awesome.
So, yeah, I would say those two made a huge influence.
Did you get a drum set right away after that? Or when did you start playing?
No.
How was it? Yeah.
I started with the piano and then I got to the trumpet. But then I was on my parents 24/7. And at last I got the drum kit. But we grew up in the suburbs in a what do you call it, big house with lots of people. I had to actually take my drums into the elevator and go down to the trash room in the basement and set up there. So yeah,
that's given a whole new meaning to the trash can rollout finish of a song right there. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah,
dude, that's cool though, man. Like
that's dedication.
Yeah, exactly, man. Like that's kind of how it was with me. Like fortunately, like my father was a musician and like I had the stuff at my disposal, and he had like a little building that he bought, like one of his little small portable buildings that he soundproofed, and he put it outside because he would record all of his stuff in there. I was very fortunate to be able to do that. And dude, I started playing. Shit, I was 8 years old, and I didn't get like serious about it until I was like 11. But I spent hours every day. Like I would come home from school, I'd go right into there. I swear to God, I probably played for like 6 or 8 hours a day, every day.
Yeah.
That was
same here. Obsession. Yeah. That I think personally, I think that's the best way to learn is to play to old records and mimic.
Yeah. I didn't take lessons at first. I later did, but I would just watch, VHS tapes of bands, concert films, whatever it would be, and I would say, okay, he's putting his hand here and his hand here on this beat, and I would just mimic it. And that was how I got the first couple of beats going. And then I was able to take lessons and kind of figure out more as I went along. But that's a great way of starting, if you can just mimic that, because it gives you that real feel of practicality immediately,
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So like playing by ear versus reading music, it's weird. Like I can read it. I don't necessarily apply it though. I've spoken about this, I think, a couple times on our show, but sometimes with bands, if they had me join in and they had stuff already done, I would just play it and remember it, play it by ear,
Yeah. Learn by heart. It's the best way, I think. For me, anyway. I know guys who can read and play tastefully on the spot, but I think for me the notifications, it backs me up a little bit.
Same.
It limits you a little bit as far as what you can do with your own, what your heart is telling you to play.
Yeah.
So when you were starting to do live, with full bands and everything, which of your projects was actually first? Because I know Paatos, I think your Paatos goes all the way back to like the 90s, right? From what I've read up on, it goes back to the 90s, and you were in a few bands.
Yeah,
I mean, you're in a lot of bands, honestly, which it's really cool to see. That's like a dedicated musician. But like, I think Paatos is probably, at least to my knowledge, probably one of your most known projects.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, my personal projects anyway. But we started in 2000, I think, was the start of that. But it was like two bands merged together to a new band. It was people from Landberg, and we had a band called Egg. So yeah, two of us and two of them made this new band, and it started out as a instrumental band, but we really felt we need a singer, so we started looking, and somebody said, yeah, your wife is a singer, come on. And I was like, but then I asked her, and she was like, but then we got it together, and it worked out great. So
you've been doing that ever since?
Yeah, we quit the band in 2013 because of people getting families and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then we got talked into doing a reunion gig here in Stockholm, and it was so much fun. So we said we have to continue.
Yeah, and that was how Ligament came about. That's because you guys just dropped that album this April this year, and damn, it's a great record, man. Like one of the first songs that I got to hear from it was "Beyond the Forest," and you had Mikael from Opeth on there as a guest vocalist. So that was really cool. I guess that kind of like is I guess in our universe like a tie together, just because like Opeth's guitarist was on Ghost's most recent like 3 records, including Impera.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes, it went full circle in many ways.
How did you get involved with Opeth? As far like, are you guys like buds that kind of go a long way back? Because like I think that's a really cool feature because of the style of music that Paatos is, and just from what I've listened to, it seems like it's very influenced by like Portishead and Massive Attack and bands like that. And Opeth is pretty melodic. That's there's a lot of heavy influence there too. But like that's a really cool feature to have him on there as a guest vocalist. How did that come about? Yeah,
I think it worked out great. But I found an old recording, live recording with Paatos the other day, and that night we shared a stage with Opeth, and that's like 25 years ago. So, so we know each other, but not that we call, and wish a Merry Christmas or anything like that. But, we're in the same circles. Yeah. We really wanted to make a duet, and we sat here, and Michael would be perfect. So. And then he just said, yeah, why not? Let's do it.
That's how the best collaborations happen.
Yeah.
Came out great.
Yeah, I was going to say it's a great record. Like if anybody out there like listening, like if you haven't heard of this, like just it's on Spotify. It's even on YouTube. If you want to check it out, like definitely give it a spin. It's a great record. I mean, all the records are fantastic, but I really fell in love with Ligament. It was a good like flow from start to finish, and it really. You're welcome, dude. It really speaks to. I think Paatos is probably one of the best representations of like the style that you put forth, because you play a lot of different stuff, which is really cool. Like I've seen stuff from like funk to like rock, obviously like, metal and things like that. You have a ton of musical influences. Like, is it something that you try to incorporate like for yourself, or do you typically, like if you're playing with a band that has like a certain style, is it like, okay, like service the song, or do you try to sneak in a little bit of, other kind of stuff in there whenever you're playing?
I think I don't think about music in terms of styles, actually. I think it's all connected, and I'm sure it is if you start looking at it. Everything's sprung out of the same, it's like a tree. So, but I think I would be very bored just to do one style. I play everything from jazz to reggae to, I need that in my life.
Do you think it's important for young musicians to learn all different styles instead of what they listen to specifically and step out of their comfort zone?
Yeah, I think it's good to zoom out, and see not just the typical, what comes with the style. You should wear your clothes like that or this or that, Just zoom out and listen to good music, classical music, punk rock music. There's tons of great music in every style.
I absolutely agree with that. When I was growing up, I played primarily, I was a huge Kiss fan, as I mentioned, and I listened to a lot of stuff like that, 70s rock and classic rock. Mm-hmm. And my first band that I joined that actually toured was a blues band. All right. I didn't know much about blues music. No. But I would go to Memphis every year for the International Blues Competition. And when I was there, I would see bands from all over the world playing blues music. And it started a love of blues music, which, I learned stemmed into all other types of music that I love. You can find influence of the blues in every single music genre. And I got really into Howlin' Wolf, B.B. King, all those, greats.
Freddie King.
Freddie King. So many kings in blues music, But all that stuff, John Mayall Blues Band and all that. And there's so many great recordings and grooves and, drummers like Bernard Purdie and stuff, and how that translates into, rock and funk and soul and R&B and pop and country, and all of it can kind of be a melting pot, Yeah.
And that's what's interesting is the that's why I really dug into the drum and bass, because I think they were the point for a long while, the forefront, like punk rock once was, and breaking new grounds. Now I don't know what's, because I think the whole world is, what do you call it, when you're in the water and just
freaking out. Well, because I don't know if there is anything innovative happening on a mainstream level right now. Everything is kind of, there's been so many times we don't have, it's an interesting conversation of if we have anything groundbreaking and new happening in the drumming sphere that is being, I'm sure people in their basements or around the world are doing things no one's done before, but we're so stuck by tradition that I don't know if we're breaking out of that, and the mainstream spotlight is shining on that. It's either sound like this or do something like this, and this, as opposed to, just something brand new, like when people came on the scene, back in the day and would no one's ever seen anyone play like that, you know?
Yeah, what a time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Something I noticed that was really interesting, just kind of like, you know, looking at your page and everything, you make your own drums. Am I right? Like there's some drum kits that you've actually like made yourself?
Yeah, that's what I use these days. I made a kit out of copper.
Yeah, I saw that.
With brass lugs and hardware. And now I made a kit in cherry, like a steam bent. And I'm building a kit in aluminum.
Wow.
The copper kit got so heavy.
Uh-huh.
How does it sound?
Was that a skill you learned, or
sorry. That's what I was getting at too. Like, if the copper kit like sounded great, because that's actually really an interesting material to build.
Yeah, but it's unexpectedly warm and not so it's not yelling. It's warm and big sound. It's great. So that's my main kit, and the cherry kit I use in the studio.
Go ahead.
What are the sizes on that copper kit?
I got a 120 kick and 124 kick, and then I have 8, 10, and 12 and 16.
Is that your go-to sizes?
Yeah, mostly 12, 16. Sometimes I use the small toms to have some fun.
Yeah. Different sound for sure, but that big, you get a bigger range there for sure.
But if I get an idea, I have to do it.
Yeah, and Anthony was like bringing that up a while ago too. Is like the skill set like required for that, dude. Like that's something I can't even fathom. Like I feel like that's something
I've wanted to.
Yeah, same. That's something I feel like you'd have to like, and obviously like you've had to have spent a lot of time like learning that in like a shop or something like that. Because I'd be too afraid to mess it up. You know, I'd be so afraid I would warp the shell, or I would screw up the wood ply somehow, or like the material itself.
Yeah, but you have to try. You learn as you go.
Did you just try and go? Is that what you did? Just trial and error and figured it out, or was it someone showing you, or was there,
No, I just made it.
Wow.
Fuck yeah.
But I've been building motorcycles for 30 years, so I like to build things.
So that, if you have an idea of how drums work, and the parts that go into them, which obviously you do, it's kind of probably you can figure it out, is from knowing how to build things, how to construct, each part.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah, I've always wanted to try it. I do a lot of woodworking. So I figured I could probably, if I put the time in, I probably could figure it out. It's just a matter of figuring it out and taking that step and that leap into just trying it.
Just go, man.
Yeah. You know what? After this, I'm gonna actually get serious about doing that, and I'll build a snare drum to start.
Yeah, great. The stave snare drums, that's pretty easy.
Yeah, I've seen videos of that process, and it seems like something I could do. For sure.
Go.
I will. I want everyone who's listening to hold me accountable. Make sure I do that.
Oh, I'll definitely hold you accountable. I'll text you every day. Be like, where's it at? I'm gonna text you every day.
I've got a bunch of wood. I've got really nice wood. I could, I have all the tools. I could do it. And I could use
what are you waiting for?
I don't know. I was waiting for a kick in the ass to tell me to do it.
This might be the kick in the ass. Hux kicked you right in the ass.
I think it is. Yeah.
So, dude, speaking of snare drums, Hux, you actually have a really cool collection of them as well. And you've played with a lot of, I say played with, like, I feel like this is like the mark of a true musician's musician. Like, you have certain brands that you definitely stick with because, like, they're, the old faithful. But I also feel like across the years, like, I think collectively all of us have been musicians for at least the last 3 decades. You come across a lot of different companies that have really great sounds and they have really great products and things like that. Like I know you stick with like Winsett drumsticks and Istanbul cymbals, which Istanbul is like a great cymbal company actually. But I've seen you play with anything from Gretsch to Pearl to Ludwig snares, but you actually had like a couple in your collection that was like a Coton steel snare, and then like you've had an Antonio snare, a 1930s was it Lindborg snare drum. Like is that something like you just kind of happen upon, or is it like you have like a bucket list of snare drums that you would love to have at your disposal that you like to use on records and stuff?
Yeah, maybe I used to have a bucket list, but from now on, I'm gonna build what I need myself.
Right on.
I got this steel drum, a birch stave drum, the copper 6.5. Yeah, the Japanese cedar. So yeah, and my philosophy is, I think you can get to be friends with like 10 snare drums. People have like 40, 50 snare drums, but I'm not sure if you can really have a, what do you call it, intimacy relationship with so many.
Yeah, I feel that. I've played, like, it's weird because like I've played a few kits over the years. I used to play a lot of Pearl drum kits, and I've actually been playing on Gretsch for the last probably 20 years of my life, and and mostly for the snare drums, honestly, because they've had a few over the years that I've really enjoyed. I used to play on, there was a bell brass snare drum they made one time, and I got to play. I didn't own it, but I got to play on it, and oh my God, like that was one where I was like, man, I would never steal something from like that. Like I was sitting there like, man, if it goes missing, I don't know what happened to it, but it's definitely not in my closet right now. It was a great kit. It was a great snare, man. But I totally get that sentiment where you find that sweet spot or something that just works with, rhythmically how you play, the cadence, the bounce, the everything about it. I think
the feel is very important. And then, of course, one thing that makes a huge impact is what the room you are in. So, of course, it's a good idea to have a few, because you never know what the room is going to be like.
And tuning can do a lot for that too, but not for the room, but you can change a lot of, with each one you have, and how, get a real range, as you were saying, you don't need 40 or 50, but if you have a couple that work for different sizes, different, materials and stuff, and you can get that, and, there's a lot you can do there. But different scenarios might call for something different.
Yeah, totally.
Speaking of different scenarios, I definitely want to swing this conversation over to your session work with Ghost on Impera, because for anybody out there listening, dude, I looked at the specs and everything you used on this album. It's a major hybrid drum set, because like I know sometimes you play with a trap set, like a 4-piece kit. Most of the time I've seen you play with a 4-piece, but this was, one of the bigger setups, and it's the toms I recognize like from a lot of your other stuff. It's a lot of concert toms. It's a lot of racked concert toms, which means for our people out there that don't know, there's no bottom resonation head on these. It's the shit that like Phil Collins would use for Genesis, like if you want an example of what to look at. And it was like a hybrid of electronic cymbals with actually without the hi-hats. The hi-hats were still regular hi-hats, brass, and you had a Roland V snare drum, and I think this was probably the more hotly debated topic, and I just want some clarification if you can remember, because I know you've done a lot of work in the studio. The bass drum, was that an acoustic bass drum, or was that an electric bass drum, or did it have like a trigger on it or anything? Because we noticed in the production how it came out, it's kind of hard to tell, which is the trick, mind you. Like it is the trick to cut cymbal bleed out and to have more punch, on the toms, but then like, because this was Ghost's first time having double bass drum implemented on a record, which obviously you need a quick decay, so that any kind of reverb doesn't, bleed over into, stuff like that. So how was working on a kit like that, as opposed to other stuff?
It took me about the first day in the studio to get used to this weird kit. I brought these toms of mine. It's like I bought this Maxwin kit for like what is it in dollars? It's like $70. So it's a really cheap shit toms, but they sound great for this.
I love that, because you can make cheap stuff sound great if you have the right stuff on it. Because you put Evans Red hydraulic heads on those, and those are some of the best fucking drum heads in the market.
I have them on these.
Exactly. Yeah, and the 421 Sennheiser on each tom.
Yes.
Yeah.
That helps a lot.
Yeah.
The bass drum was actually a Roland. It looks like a real drum, but it's electronic.
That's what I thought.
Wow. Yeah, I had a feeling too. There is a quality to that you kind of get of consistency that you can hear with that. Was that your call to use all that? Did you have any influence at all in that gear?
Yeah, I can tell you that I refused to use an electronic hi-hat because they haven't cracked that one yet.
No, the latency issues are a son of a bitch on those, honestly. Like, and it doesn't feel real. Like, of all the things that you could do electronically on a drum kit, the hi-hat, fuck that, in my opinion. Like, you need real hats, you need
for that. Yeah, you can't get those dynamics and everything you want out of that from.
Yeah, it's the most complex instrument, I think, in a kit. But the rest it worked. But I also noticed I hit really, really hard on those electronic drums because you don't get the physical answer when you hit the drum. You don't get any sound wave in your guts.
The velocity's missing.
Yeah, you tend to hit really hard because your body is desperate for that physical, only here.
Yeah. How did you come across like getting this gig? Was it like, did you get cold called, or were you a fan of the band's music, or did you actually have any also any like writing influence on the parts, or how did that all come about?
Yeah, I was kind of free with the fills, which I was happy about. But Tobias he's very ahead on everything. He knows what he wants, and sometimes he just said, "Yeah, go crazy, just go." And but the producer Klaus, we go way back. We know each other from Fist Funk, Teddy Bears years. The hardcore scene here in Stockholm. So. Yeah, we don't hang out, but he called one day and, it's Klaus, you want to play on the new Ghost album? I said, yeah, why not? So, yeah, that's how it went.
I love that.
Wow.
It's like very, very, very simple and just a loose connection right there to put you right in there. Yeah. How was the experience though? Like whenever it was all said and done, did you enjoy like your time doing it as far as like, if you hadn't heard like any of the tracks before, or if you hadn't heard the band's music before, like coming into it, was it something obviously it interested you enough to want to play on it, but was it something that you wound up like enjoying more?
I never listened to Ghost before. Of course, I heard it, but I knew about them, but they're not in my record collection. But I was, because I was in a kind of a down period in my whole musical life, family stuff and life stuff. So I was really happy to get the question, and there was gonna be double bass, which I never practiced. So I was actually stuck on that song with I think it's in 5 or something with a double bass pattern.
20s?
I just couldn't. Yeah, right. I just couldn't work it out. But Klaus was cool, and we have all day. Just practice for 15 minutes and then we take it. So really, really nice, easy going in the studio. We made a lot of parts, mostly, the hard parts where I was really bashing the shit out of this electronic kit.
Yeah, because that's one thing that I like about this one. It's weird because like the way that it turned out is like you can tell like it's a little pushed back like as far as the snare and the bass are, but the thwack is there. Like it's something like when you play it live, you want to beat the shit out of your drum kit when you play this stuff, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'll tell you right now, I'm pretty sure Anthony and I probably agree on this. Like one of our favorite pieces on that was Respite on the Spittlefields was like
I was going to bring that up, the last track.
Great damn song.
That drum interlude.
Yeah, that's what I was going to get at too. Because when you talked about how you had kind of freedom with the drum fills, like that's fun. That the ass end of that song with the big tom roll out towards the end of the song. Dude, it's so cool to hear that because it felt improvisational. It wasn't like, oh, this is pre-planned. It felt very much like, oh, let's have fun with it, and it's a fun song. So
I don't know if I'm mishearing it, but I hear maybe some Peter Criss inspiration there still coming in.
Yeah,
a little bit of that
probably.
Bills, you subconsciously even
some Vinny Appis maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's a good one. Yep.
Yeah, it's a king of Tom fills.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I'll tell you right now, it was fun finding out that you played traditional grip. Like I brought that up earlier, but it was really fun finding out that you played traditional grip because when people hear rock music, they don't traditionally think about that type of grip. They think about matched grip, which is typically used for like timpani playing and things like that. But this goes all the way back to like, Gene Krupa, like Buddy Rich, people like that played that way. And it's cool to know that you've stuck with it. Like I always have had a really weird time trying to play traditional. Like I fuck it up way too much, so like it's something I still struggle with to this day. Is that something that like you made a conscious decision to, or was that something that you just grew up and you learned it exactly like that?
I started out with the matched, but I never got the left hand to do what I wanted to do. And of course, I've seen Buddy Rich, and I'm going to try this. And it felt good straight away. And you can get a lot of power with a traditional grip as well. So because that's what people always say. I don't understand how you can hit so hard with the traditional, but it's no problem. You can hit really hard.
Yeah, Stuart Copeland is a prime example of that. I've seen that dude break fucking snare heads and all kinds of shit live.
Yeah.
Yeah. What a monster.
Yeah. And Cozy Powell, we have.
Yes. Yeah.
There's a few.
There's a lot of great drummers who play like that now. Especially now there's more coming out. Who is it, Richie, that I'm thinking of? Who's in Grayson?
Yeah, Grayson Necrutman. He's playing with Sepultura right now.
Yep.
Yeah. Right.
I couldn't think of his last name for a second there, but he's got a bunch of videos of him playing like Slipknot songs with that, that traditional grip going hard. There's one of him playing Green Hell, I think, by the Misfits, and he's doing hammering it out.
He's doing blast beats with traditional grip. Dude, it's crazy.
Yeah, he's really crazy. Madman.
Yeah, that's something new and innovative there. Taking that real blast beat style with that kind of traditional grip.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
It's wild though. It's like a lot of that stuff came from jazz. Like people don't want to admit that, but a lot of that kind of music, like a lot of that playing style, it came from jazz.
Yeah.
Like even like 7-string guitar stuff came from jazz. A lot of what you hear in metal music came from jazz, like freestyle drumming. It's all interconnected, and that goes way back, Hux, to what you were saying earlier about music, just being good music, and incorporating it all, and not necessarily thinking one style.
It's from your heart. It's good.
Yeah,
it's easy as that.
Yeah, and to me, like that's a big deal, and that's a big reason why I know Anthony and myself enjoy a lot of the work that you've done. It's all different. Like there's all different stuff, but it's all interconnected, and there's a vast majority of it out there. Again, anybody listening, like we'll put links in our show notes below for the various projects that you've done over the years.
What I love is your love of drums is very evident. If you look at your Instagram, you can see that you have a passion for the instrument, not just playing it, but how it works, building it, and appreciating the history of it too. Of all different types of drums and kits and kit configurations. And I love that too. So it's really interesting to see someone who is passionate about not just the musical pieces, but the instrument itself and how you, can
the
totality.
It's very nice to look at as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's like cars,
Yeah. It's with the the lines, and it's beautiful.
Beautiful piece of wood, and someone or metal or whatever material, and how it can turn into something that is stunning.
Yeah, it's amazing.
For those out there who don't get it, and might not be drummers or musicians, it's like how some guys are car guys, and they'll go or bikes or whatever. Which I know you do motorcycles, but you can look at them for hours, and they'll just go to dealerships and look at beautiful cars or car shows. That's how it is for drums. It's their works of art.
Yeah, and it makes you want to play them when you see the kit. You want to play it.
I have a drum set that I had custom made from a company here in the US, SJC, and they're local to me. They're about 45 minutes away, and it's a maple kit, but it's black and orange because I love Halloween. So I've had the colors of Halloween on it, and spending the money, having that custom made to the sizes I want and everything. I'll never play another kit live because it's perfect for me, and every time I see it, I just see photos of it and it makes me want to play. It makes me immediately want to jump behind there, just because it looks beautiful, it sounds beautiful, and it just makes me want to get there and play. It's just a 4-piece kit, but it makes me just want to.
It's all you need.
Bash it, yeah. Especially for what I'm playing, I play a lot of cover bands or blues or rock, and so I don't need a huge kit, but it does the job, and it just makes me want to bash those drums.
Congrats, man.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, that's the goal, is once you find that thing that works for you, we're always searching, but once you find that beautiful kit that just calls to you.
And that's the next step in a way from when you're really young, you want to look like your idol, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
He's, like I remember Vinny Colaiuta had this white Yamaha kit.
Mm-hmm.
I have plenty of those just because he had that. And that's part, I think, of the evolution in you
as a drummer.
You mimic, and you want to look like your favorite, and then you find your own path out of that. But it's an important period, I think.
Yeah, I had this kit. It's actually behind me here, but it's a Mapex kit, and it's an 8-piece, and I loved it. But I couldn't bring it around as much. I was like, I don't have the use for. I don't use 2 floor toms and 3 rack toms and all that. I don't use that as much. I don't need it for these songs. And so that for me was a big step for me, was to be like, it looks cool. I look like one of those drummers that I grew up watching, but I don't need it. I just need, snare, a rack tom, floor tom, 4-piece kit, and I can play everything I want and feel comfortable with it. And then I felt like I got better as a drummer because I wasn't relying on, bells and whistles of hitting everything I could to look like a huge, 80s rock drummer or, 70s, prog drummer. I wanted to just be, okay, I can make do on a small kit, and I can play, and that's all I need to do, and I can get the gig done, Yeah.
Perfect. I just went to see, the band Deerhoff?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The Greg Soiner, the excellent drummer. He just had one cymbal, one rack tom, and a bass drum and a snare drum. That's it. And it was an amazing concert. So
sometimes less is more, You can be more creative when you have less options, as opposed to how can I fit all this in to a song. If you have the bare minimums, you can just focus on the groove. And just, making it kind of opens your mind up a different way if you take things away,
Yeah, and it forces you to use dynamics.
Yep. Mm-hmm. We must, because you talked about that earlier, and I think it's interesting. In music, we don't use it as much. A lot of times you'll hear even people just do it in the production side. They'll take it down, a couple dBs or up, as opposed to a full band that can really use the dynamics to their advantage to make a song. You can have a song be the same thing the whole time, but if you are good with your dynamics, especially in drumming, you can keep it interesting the entire time.
Yeah.
I remember having a similar thing like you, Anthony. Growing up, I watched Neil Peart and Alex Van Halen have these massive fucking drum sets, and I was like, these are great. I love this. And I had like a 7-piece kit at one point, and then after a while, I was like, I don't need all this. And I wanted to force myself to get, like you said, creative on less. So even now, I have a 17-inch crash cymbal, a 21-inch ride, a 12 rack, 16 floor, 22 bass, and 14 snare. Like, and that's hi-hats actually, but like that's all I use. I used to have like this massive kit, like 5 cymbals, 8-piece drum kit, big shit. And the smaller kit I have stuck with literally for the last 20 years. And I'm so glad that I did that because I think, and this is probably something that like a lot of younger musicians that are starting out, like younger drummers, as they're learning and they have so much in front of them, I feel like you would tend to overplay instead of like, doing what would actually come natural.
Yeah, at a certain age, I think you overplay anyway. So
yeah,
it all comes full circle. But at the end of the day, that groove is the most important thing, and being locked in with the pocket, and being a solid foundation for everything else to sit on top of, Right. For my day job, I teach drums for lessons at a music school. That's something I tell people all the time is, we are the foundation, that rhythm section, drums and bass for everything else. You can have an amazing guitar player, but if you have a drummer who can't keep time, the whole band is going to sound rough. If the foundation, you could have a table with a beautiful cake on top of it, but if the leg is broken, it's going to fall, and it doesn't matter how beautiful that cake is, it starts here. Yeah.
That's the roots, Yeah.
Well, Hux, do you have any other projects that you have in the works that might be coming out soon? I know, like I said earlier, we know you just put a new album out with Paatos in April, but do you have anything else that you can talk about that you might have coming up, or are you just kind of sticking to doing just touring right now?
We recorded a new Brooklyn funk album that's coming out this fall. I've been working on a new album with Booba from Helicopters, his project with the singer who's called Odd. He sings with Robots and the Crypt Kicker 5. And awesome. That's gonna be it's like some kind of, it's a lot of drums.
Cool.
Yeah.
Good.
Booba just said go crazy, so
awesome.
It's some kind of Rolling Stones meets I don't know what to, MC5 maybe, it's a lot of 70s but also the Dr. John feel on occasion. Awesome. And it's gonna be interesting.
Excellent.
I can't wait for that.
Yeah, I can't wait either. That's gonna be great, man. Yeah. Especially the Brooklyn Funk Essentials. I've seen footage of you guys on YouTube, and I love that project so damn much. It's so
Me
good.
too.
Oh yeah. I use my new cherry wood kit on that, and the sound is amazing.
As you should.
Yeah.
That's it, I think, right now. We're gonna probably record something with Reggae also. Mm-hmm. In the near future. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Hux, dude, we really, really, as we're coming to a closer, we really appreciate you taking time out of your day, especially just having come back from a tour to hang out and talk with us. We've actually been looking forward to this conversation for a while.
No, I'm honored to be.
Thank you very much. Yes.
Yeah.
For everybody out there who is listening, if you'd like to follow Hux on Instagram, I believe the handle is Hux Flux.
Yeah, Hux Deluxe.
Hux Deluxe, yeah. I get like a couple of them, like, I was like, because I know one was like Hux Flux, they're like Hux Deluxe, because that's your nickname. Actually, before we get out of here, like, that's something I did want to bring up that I didn't even think about. Like, how did you get that nickname?
This was a bet I made with a bass player. We were out on the ocean one summer day on an old ship. We said we really need stage names. So he was gonna be called Simsalabim, and I was gonna be called Hux Flux. And then we made a bet that when we got home again, we're gonna send the papers in to the authorities. But he never did, so I won. So it's in my passport now.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. Because whenever I was looking, I was like, because I thought that was like your actual like first name at first, and then I was looking, I was like, oh no, it's Rickard Hux like Nettermalm, and I was like, oh, that's a cool nickname, and then I was like, man, I want to ask him how he got that nickname, because I know like as you build your drums, you actually stamp that onto the drum kits. So
yeah.
That's a cool story, dude. That's fucking hilarious, actually.
Yeah, I love that.
We do what we can to have fun, right?
That's what it's all about, dude.
You have to.
Well, dude, again, thank you so much for your time. And it was
no problem.
It was such a pleasure to talk to you today. And we know everybody out there listening is going to have a blast, like just listening to your story and like, you know, how you came into our fandom, because we hold Impera in very high fucking regard, honestly, as a great record from this band. And we are so thankful that you had, you know, a part in it. And it's no small part either. It is a big part of that record sound, and you made that so possible. So thank you for that.
Happy to hear that. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks again for joining us, dude. Hope you have a great time doing all of your musical endeavors in the future. We look forward to hearing it.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
And good luck with everything.
Thank you.
Thanks. Appreciate it. For past, present, and future episodes of GonstFM Off Air, you can subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or YouTube. You can leave us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts. You can leave us a rating and leave comments on individual episodes on Spotify. And if you're listening to this episode on our YouTube channel, please consider subscribing to the channel, clicking the bell for notifications for future episodes, leaving a like on the video, or leave a comment down below. Any engagement helps. If you'd like to attend a future GonstFM Station Head Radio ritual, if you'd like to join Anthony's group Ghost Cosplay, or if you'd like to join the official Facebook group GonstFam, all of this can be found in our show notes below. And so, our dearest Gonslings, that brings this week's episode to a close. Some of you we will see in Internet Land, and the rest of you we will see in Ghost Cosplay or in GonstFam. Take care of yourselves, and remember, until next time, in Gonst, we Tronst. I'm Papa X.
And I'm Uncle Ghoul.
And we'll see you next time.